Hello friends. So I just wanted to put together a little video, little how-to. I am working on basically a log style fence. I'm using peeler cores. I have access to peeler cores, which is the center left over after peeling plywood. So I'm going to use those to build a fence, and I thought I'd bring you guys along, show you a little bit of the process. So hope that this will help. You can see there's a bunch going on back here behind me. A few things. I tore out an old grape area. Just getting a lot of disease, a lot of little like white gnat bugs that are just messing with them. And then they get, I don't know if it's a copper, like it's got a name of like a copper something, but you can see I get brown leaves. I've got white little bugs that just seem to be attacking them real bad. So I pulled that out. And I thought it'd be nicer where we used to live off-grid. I had grapes in my greenhouse because they wouldn't survive the winter where we used to live. Here they do survive the winter, they don't die off. The vines are able to survive and produce grapes. So we're just in more of a banana belt than where we used to be. But I wanted to do a trellis thing again. So I had an old 10 by 20 carport that had given up on us due to snow and damage. So I repurposed it. Cut the center bars down, re-put the pins, the clips in them. So anyway, just did a little trellis. I wanted my grapes to be up a little bit, not quite on the ground. So I cut the bottom out of some barrels so that it is in full contact with the earth below for drainage. I did like a herga-culture, I believe it's a German word, but where you put natural debris underneath. Normally you build a mound. So I put a bunch of limbs and wood debris and even some straw down underneath these. That'll help hold moisture, give some nutrients once the roots get there. So I did that. I didn't want my barrels to get so hot and the roots of the grapes burn. So I did a chicken mesh wrap filled with washed river rock for both of them. That helps anchor the barrel, helps anchor the trellis. So I did that, and then I'm transplanting some roses that had been in a bad spot. So to do more water retention, put the roses in, dug a little ditch around them, filled them in with washed river rock. So when we water, I'm not eroding the soil, and I'm creating a spot for the water to stay there longer and to sink at the roots. Plus the rocks will keep some of the evaporation down. But anyway, so I'm going to be putting a fence through here. I'm going to bring it back to the post of the house and up to here so that we have a more defined entrance to our house. So let's show you how I do that. Alright, so I've got a little workstation set up here. Just wanted to go over a few things with you guys, but just to make sure I was using the right wording, I looked it up. So the tool I'm using is from a company called Lumberjack Tools. I had bought the beginner's kit, so it comes with a book, like a how-to. With that, you get this tenon cutter, which is a dual blade. Let me show you what it looks like inside. So it kind of looks like a big pencil sharpener. You've got the opening here. We got 2 blades that it can accept up to a 4-inch log, and then it'll make close to like a 2-inch tenon on the end of a log. So it comes with that, comes with the 1.5-inch bit for drilling the female side holes in your posts, and then you use this side to make the tenons for the logs that go between the posts. So just wanted to give you guys a little look at that. These are my rough plans. My posts from ground level, I'm going 74 inches tall. I'm only going about 20 inches into the ground. I'm going into sand, and then I use a T-post that I pound in next to it, drill holes, and attach it so that it doesn't blow over. I have pre-soaked my ends in oil. So I also burnt them to close the pores up a little bit, and then I soaked them in a bucket of oil for a week just so that they don't rot away, because it was a raw wood. For me, I'm going with a top post at 70 inches in the center, the middle 38 in the center, and then the bottom one 6 inches in the center. That way I'm not touching the dirt, but I do have some bracing pretty low. So what I do is then I'm using horse fencing, which is 2-inch by 4-inch rectangled fencing wire, to keep either my dogs in, cats out, turkeys out, other than, yes, they can fly over, and deer. So this is what I'm doing. Of course, you can make it work for you however you want. Let me give you a little look. This was a dog fence that I did 2 years ago. So yes, I've had these tools for a while, but you can see I went with a like a gray fencing stain, so it would penetrate into the wood a little bit more. And you can see, like on this, do both sides. And then, like I said, these are just little 3-foot, other than a T-post, I don't know what to call them, but I pound these in next to the post, screw to my post, and then that just locks it in, gets it nice and strong. And then, like I said, I'm using 2-inch by 4-inch horse fencing wire. It's just really been sturdy. The dogs haven't been able to chew on it, and I don't have any problem with any animals crawling through it. When I came up against my shed, I just butted, so I did 2x4s, and I just butted to the building and attached it. The trick, after you put the posts in and then the fence rails, you drive a little screw underneath at an angle to pinch this into the post. Hi, girl. So that now after it's in, you push them together, pinch it, and then drive a screw or a nail through, whatever works, and that pinches it in so that it doesn't want to spin and doesn't want to pull apart. I used ratchet straps to put tension on each one as I go. So when you build this type of fence, when you dig your hole, you're digging an oversized hole, because the post needs to be able to be back far enough to start getting these tenons in, and then you kind of have to wiggle them in and then pull this post towards these fence rails and then pin them, and then you can go on to the next one. But this style of fencing, you have to have some flexibility to get these maneuvered into your post. So just wanted to show you that. I'll show you more when we do it. So let's go ahead and start making some of these, and I'll show you that process. Alright guys, so I've already pre-marked my post. I've got the 20 inches marked for how deep I'll be putting the post into the ground. Then I've got my center mark is 6 inches, 38 and 70, so that I just have that ready to go. I've got my bit here for drilling the hole, which is 1.5 inches. This one's going to be a center post where I'm going to have rails on each side. So I will be drilling this one all the way through. If I don't go all the way through, I just go about 1.5 inches in. And so we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, the tenon cutter that's like a pencil sharpener, they recommend a single speed drill. The first drill that I ordered off of Amazon, I didn't find a single speed, so this is a variable speed. So I use this one now to drill the holes. Later, I don't know, in the summer I had gone yard sailing. I did find a single speed old plumber's drill, so now I do have a single speed for the tenon cutter and then a variable speed for making the hole. It's just a little longer. Alright, so we've got our post made. Yeah, and I just remembered I didn't show you guys the stand that I made for doing this. So in the past I used to make some log furniture, and you know, using a draw knife to get the bark off of an actual log. Well, I've done some different designs of these stands. This one's finally my strongest. So got this X here with a good V at the top to hold various sizes of logs. I've got regular bracing across the bottom and then an angle bracing on both sides so that it doesn't rock back and forth. And then the one big upgrade I did on this one I put these big eye bolts in down here to use a ratchet strap, and you'll see why. I just did one for this process, which is all it needed, but when I'm making the tenon, there's a lot of torque on this and it wants to spin. So when I do that, I use 2 ratchet straps on here, and this frame has worked really well for me holding these peeler cores when I do this. So I just wanted to give you guys an example and show you a little trick I did here. You can see I added a spacer because these are X'd. So to make it flush, added a little spacer, bolted and screwed through that. Just made this one as strong as I could, and this thing's going on 2 years old, maybe 2.5, and has held up really well. So it's definitely worth investing in your stand when you start building a fence this way. All right, we'll get on to the next step. Okay, so I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys that it can be a challenge to get these ratchet straps on without them coming back off the eye bolts. I'm sure there'd be another way that might make it a little easier, but it's not that hard, just it can be a challenge. So got that one nice and tight, and when I'm doing the tenon cutter, I do 2 straps because this thing does want to spin. Okay, good and solid. Now, I will say be cautious of these single speed drills. There's a lot of torque behind them, so you want to be careful. So I get it spinning before putting any pressure on the blades, and try and get it as level as I can when I start. Okay, I've got about 1.5 inches or so of a male tenon on that side, so let's do the other. Okay, about the same on the other. And like I said, a lot of torque, so be ready so you don't snap a wrist or hurt yourself. So I've got the one post ready, one rail, so I'm going to make some more of these and we'll get to the fence. Alright guys, so I've got my post ready, I've got 3 rails ready, so I'm going to go ahead and dig my hole, and I'm going to show you a tool that maybe you haven't seen before. So let me get the top of the ground here broke free. So I normally break the topsoil to grass the roots loose with a regular shovel. Now most of you are probably familiar with a post hole digger, which that's the normal, which actually works really well here. I have about 5 feet of sand that we're sitting on from a glacial activity in the past. But the shovel I was turned on to years ago by a friend in Cleellum, I don't know what its official name is, but it kind of looks like a bucket. It's got teeth, and you spin it, and you fill the cup up or the bucket up with dirt. It holds it long enough to get it out and get it out. But this digs a very nice post hole with this tool. So if you can ever find one of these, antique store, something like that, a shop, yard sale, whatever, I love mine. If you're in real rocky soil, don't bother. It's not going to work for you. But if you're not fighting a bunch of rocks, it works great. And all you do, stick it in, spin it, it fills the cup with a bunch of soil, lean it sideways, empty it out. And I usually put marks on the post, on the pole of it, and this thing just works great for digging a post hole. Okay, and I'm only after 20 inches. So just like that, in my sandy soil, I've got a clean 20-inch hole. Now, because I do have to widen it, because I need to be able to put my posts in and then pull them closer, I usually end up shaving the sides of it a little bit to oblong it with this. But my hole's already made. So just like that, got my hole. I've got my pencil mark for the 20 inches of depth I want. So I do have to go a little deeper. Got that. Now the hard part, getting 3 rails to stay in my fence while I put it together. and I gotta find my rubber mallet. Okay, not looking to get this super tight yet. Still want to get the top one in before I squeeze everything. Okay, so a little trick I use, I've got a 15-foot ratchet strap that makes it really handy to put some tension on here. This one just happens to have D-rings, which are great when you're going around something to hook back to itself. You don't have to worry about fighting what you're going to hook to for that to work. So a little bit of tension there. Okay, I've got good tension. All my tenons are in my posts. So, be right back. I got one other tool to show you. Alright guys, one other tool I like to use is a fence post level. So, you put it on. It also works on logs, but you got your bubbles from both sides to figure out where your post would be straight. They clip on and off with rubber bands and you can replace them. Hopefully this has one more use in it. Okay. So I've got two of my post levels. I've got my hole. I've got it tensioned so nothing falls apart on me. So we'll go ahead and work on the first one I'd already set, knowing that I was working away from it. So we just pretty much got to get this one level and get some dirt backfilled. Do a little tamping. Alright guys, so post is in. Now I'm able to set up to do the next one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin these so that they stay where they're at, and I'll leave my strap on until I get the next one in. Then I'll take the tension off of this one and then use it for the next one. So I'll be right back and show you the pinning process. So the trick, when you look at a fence, you want to see a nice clean fence. So the trick is to pin them from underneath, and then you don't really see the pins that are holding this together. Of course, the bottom one, depending on your gap, is hard to do, so I'll usually go to the back side or the side I'm going to see the least. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave a friendly comment. Thank you.